I want to start with a prayer for this workshop that's really based on finding God's love, His unlimited love in friendship and relationships in general. And I want to actually start with a prayer, which is also a song. Any James Taylor fans out there? I want you to hear Christ. Hear Christ in this song. And it's kind of corny that I'm actually doing it this way, but when I was praying about this topic, first of all, this is all in response to you all saying that you wanted more information about Christ-like friendships, about friendships rooted in God's, thank you, rooted in God's love, about relationships including, relationships with people with whom you're attracted to. And I want you just to hear how God works in all of that through this song, which will be our opening prayer in a way. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. And you can join in. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes, I will. You got a friend. And that, brothers and sisters, is exactly what Jesus says to you. He says very clearly in the scriptures, I no longer call you servants, slaves. Instead, I call you friends. This is not a Facebook title. This is a deeply rooted theological reality. Because a friend is someone who brings a unique virtue to your life. And you know what that virtue is? Joy. You see, you can get love from parents, and certainly parents should give you joy as well. But a friend is unique because a parent is someone you can't choose. They're your parents no matter what. But a friend is someone who you do choose. And therefore, if we are really going to understand the meaning of friendships, let's understand what it means to choose a good friend. Because the word choose is rooted in a word choice, and the word choice means you got to make a decision. So I'm going to tell you something. Don't be scandalized. But I, Father Leo, am 100% pro-choice. I didn't say that I was pro-killing a baby. I didn't say I was pro the abortion of a fetus, and people think, it's not a baby, it's a fetus. Well, learn your stupid Latin. The word fetus is simply the word fetus, which means small person. So, figure it out. We need to make a choice, and that's why I'm saying you have to be pro-choice, because you have to make a decision, because God gave you freedom. Don't screw it up. And the word decision, and here's why I'm so insistent on this meaning, it comes from the Latin words decidere or cidere. The verb cidere, I was never very good at Latin, but I can tell you that the verb cidere means to kill. So if you commit, in English, a homicide, in Latin it would be a homocidere, the killing of homo, man. If you commit a suicide, it would be the cidere, the killing of sui, self. And therefore, if you make a de cidere in your friendships, it should be a person who gives you life, not kills your soul. Which is why I want to read one of my favorite passages ever. When I was in high school, just a little confession. I wasn't the coolest kid in the world. I certainly wasn't the dumbest, most rejected person in the world either. But I certainly wasn't the coolest kid in the world. And honestly, being a Filipino American, but still being Filipino, people are like, "What are you, man?" Ching chong, ching chong, ching chong. And I'm like, dude, I'm a black belt. I can break your face, you know? So there were some really horrible people that judged by the cover. They were not my friends. But to prove I could be one, I chose to be their friend, even if they didn't choose to be mine. Because if you do not choose to have them be your friend, then you have made yourself their enemy. Is that what you are? No, I didn't think you would want to be. You just maybe don't want to spend all your time with them, and I get it. But let's understand this, and I remember praying this very sincerely when I was in high school. I went to Stations of the Cross on a Friday just because that's what Catholics do, right? And there was that one station where Simeon helps carries the cross of Jesus Christ. And the meditation is from Sirach 6:15. And it simply says that 6:14. It says this: "A faithful friend is a sturdy shelter. He who finds one finds a treasure." Today, we're going to talk about what it means to be a friend. To have really, first of all, a friendship rooted with Jesus so that you can take that friendship into your friendship with people who you like and eventually a person with whom you will fall in love and be literally a companion. And you know what that word means? Come with, panion, from the word pane, bread. Someone with whom you share bread with. Doesn't that sound a lot like Jesus' friendship with you? He chooses to be your friend by giving you a piece of his bread, his body and blood in the Eucharist. Before I can even get to that point, however, let's prove a couple things. Friendships in today's world is screwed up badly. Friendships, well, are you agreeing with me, or are you happy that your friendship's screwed up? I'm not quite sure. Mixed signals, you know. I know you're agreeing with me. Let me just point out a few things about friendships. Friendships are, these days, really more about social networking. It's people who you say are a friend, but you don't even know who they are from Facebook. You don't even know them. How can you be their friend? A friend these days is just someone who agrees with you, or someone who likes you because you agree with them. No, that's not a friend. These days, we have friends with benefits. There's a problem there, because the sexual language is not the language of agape. It's not the language of philia. It is the language of eros, where we get the word erotic. So we've got to be careful with what we mean by friend. I can say I probably only have maybe about a dozen close friends. And from that dozen, I probably have about 5 or 6 deep friendships. I have many acquaintances, especially on Facebook. I have many people with whom I can say, I like hanging out with you. But a friend has to be someone more. Let me continue reading the majority of this passage and see that friendship, boy, it requires our prayerfulness. From Sirach 6. A sweet word multiplies friends and mitigates enemies, and thankful words abound in a good man. Allow many to be at peace with you, but allow one of the thousands to be your counselor. If you obtain a friend, test him before you accept him, and do not trust him so readily. For there is a friend according to his own time, but he will not remain in the day of tribulation. And there is a friend who can be turned to animosity. And there is a friend who will reveal hatred and ridicule insults. And there is a friend who is a companion at table, but will not remain in a day of need. A friend, if he remains steadfast, will be to you as you are to yourself, and will act with faithfulness among those of your household. If he humbles himself before you and hides himself from your face, you shall have a noble and harmonious friendship. Distance yourself from your enemies and pay attention to your friends. There's a lot of wisdom in that. You have to test your friendships. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully give you a chance to think about qualities that I believe are friends, that we can begin to let them come closer and closer to us. And eventually, you'll be able to share with them a little bit of your soul. A friend has to be, and I'm going to spell it for you, F-R-I-E-N-D. Just 6 simple points. F for faithful. Simple. Are you a fair weather friend? Are you the kind of friend that's going to be there only during good times, but as soon as they get, I don't know, ostracized from the other group, that you abandon them as well? It's a hard thing, but Jesus never abandons us. Good times, bad, sickness, and in health. That's why the ultimate friendship is seen in marriage. And that's why marriage doesn't require sexual attraction. It requires, above all, fidelity. Because if you are a spouse who cheats on the other, besides calling them a son of a you-know-what, you call them an unfaithful son of a you-know-what. So one of the most important things about friendship is, are you faithful? Are you real? I mean, seriously, are you real? And I like understanding reality when we can maybe understand it in a word that isn't very typical today: sincere. Let's look at the word sincere for a moment, okay? Because this describes a good, real friend. Sincere comes from the 2 Latin words, sine cere. The word sine means without, cere means wax. Without wax. What? Wah, wah, wah. I don't get it, Father Leo. This is what it means. At one point, when they had these statues made out of marble, they would bring them over from like Egypt or someplace other than Rome, and they would have them on the ships, and the statue like this, and all of a sudden, the waves were like, I got a crack in the arm. What would they do to fix it? Or to pretend that it was fixed? They would drip wax in the crack. And so a real good buyer would say, this statue, is it sine cere? Is it without wax? And that's what I ask you. Where are your broken spots, and what do you fill them with? You see, if you're not filling your brokenness with Jesus, then you are not sincere. And if you're filling your friendships up with things other than that which can get them to heaven, then you're not a sincere friend. You're not real to them. That might sound insulting, but let's get real. How many of your friends want to get you to heaven? And how many of your friends, do you want to get to heaven? If you said yes to both of those, then you're learning sincerity. F-R-I. I. This is kind of an unique word. You've got to be interested in them. I mean, how many times have I seen in a restaurant friends at the same table and they're all like this? They're not even talking to each other. There's no interest in the other whatsoever. If it's not an interest, then it's another I, an insult. Do you take interest in them? Do you want to know what makes them them? Or do you judge them by their cover, or their title, or their reputation? You see, I actually had a friend. He was a really cool guy in college. He was, again, he was a karate student of mine, but we were the same age. And he was like tall, he was built, and he was good looking. He made me sick. Like, he was just one of those people who I love to hate. And honestly, I kind of felt like a dumpy dude next to him because, like, we would go to a bar and get a drink, when we were older. And, like, all of these girls would be like, on top of him, and they'd be like, hi, to me. And it was kind of embarrassing. You know what he would do? He'd be like, not pay attention to them, but he would literally be in the bar while these girls are like trying to paw at his face and his clothes and stuff. He would be wanting to talk to me. And I'm thinking, wow, what's going on here? What kind of bar is this anyway, And here's why. He said, I'm just interested in what you have to say. And he called me Mr. Leo at the time because I was instructor. He said, and I trust that you actually are interested in me as a person and not just some shallow, handsome face, which oftentimes people do. Interest in each other, which kind of begs the question, are you even interesting? Do you have something in your life that you're passionate about? Well, if you don't, then how in the heck do you expect to have someone care about you when you don't even care about yourself? So find an interest that gives you life, and you will find that it will not only make you interesting, it will pull you away from the stupid video games that just do not give you muscles. And you will actually start taking interest in people rather than your phone. F-R-I-E, here's another one. It has to be enduring. You've got to be able to deal and endure your friends. I've got one friend. His name was Tom. He got on every last plucking nerve in my body. He was so annoying. And he talked like a spaz. This again when I was in college. He talked like this. Hey, Leo, what are you doing? Leo, what are you doing? Leo, what are you doing? And I just wanted to say, God, I hate you so much. I hate you so much. But for some reason, I also liked him because he also made me laugh. What's interesting is that I liked him when he made me laugh. I didn't like him when he annoyed me. What kind of friend am I? A fair weather friend. That means I've got to learn how to endure him. Is this not setting you up for a relationship with a future spouse, maybe? Jesus says, you're going to get to heaven if you're willing to carry your cross. Married couples, I propose to you, your cross has a name. It's the name of your spouse. Right? Don't lie to a priest, folks. You cannot get up here and say, oh, no, I love everything about my spouse. No, you endure your spouse at times. Your spouse is going to be the cause for passion. Do you know what the word passion means? Because you got to endure it. And people think, yeah, passion is like a movie where, you're half naked. And yeah. No, You people are kinky and perverted, okay? Because the word passion doesn't mean sex. The word passion comes from the Latin verb patior, where we get the word conjugated, passio, passiones. It's rooted in the word pati, which means to suffer. So if you have a friend, you are going to have passion, which means you are going to have to suffer with, through, and for them. This is the passion that God has for us. He endures us. And therefore, if you really want to have a good friend, know that it is going to be, in a way, a source of suffering for you. It means that you have to be patient with your friend. Patient, which is a word that we don't have anymore. We don't like it. We've bought into the fast food mentality. We want everything in a microwavable minute. But God uses a crock pot. Because a true friend will be willing to endure, waiting for you to come home, like the prodigal son's father. F-R-I-E-N. Here's going to be a good one. It's a hard one. Here's a hard one. Ready for this, though? A good friend requires no. It requires you to sometimes say no. No means no. No means that I can't just simply agree with everything you want me to do. Being your friend doesn't mean that I become a yes man. Those are very annoying people. All they do is just say, yeah, sure, yeah. But in their heart, they're afraid to tell you the truth. You gotta have enough trust in your friendship that you can say no to them sometimes, and they will still be your friend. Such as, hey, do you want to go out? Even if your parents punished you? The answer is no. No. Oh, we need to get hooked on phonics over here, please. Hey, do you want to do something that you know is illegal? I know you're going to be like, no means no. Stop in the name. No. It's one of these words that is so corny to say in this context, but it is so challenging to say in real life. It's so challenging to say when you know that there's something that you need to say no to. No. We can't do that. That's going to hurt us more than help us. So, faithful, real / sincere, interesting and interested, enduring, patient. No. Didn't say negative. You have to learn how to say no in a way that's not going to make people feel bad. Have you ever gotten turned down by a girl and still you're friends? And you're like, no. You know why? Because you need to learn how to say no better. You see, when mom and dad said no to us as kids, it wasn't to hurt us. It was sometimes because they just didn't have the answer, they couldn't give the answer, or the answer was just no. I will say this. There was a girl that I liked. I asked her out. I was in college. Well, you people are so creepy up in this right here. I asked her out because I liked her. And you know, I wasn't horrible, and she was really pretty. Again, creepy. Yes, I did snort. Shut up. All right. So, I said to her, hey, you seem like a really nice person. We've talked a little bit. I'm just wondering if you're willing to maybe go out with me and grab a bite to eat, and we can just get to know each other better. And she said, no. And this is how she said it, though. And which is why, guess what? We're actually still friends. She said this: "You seem like a nice guy too, though not my type for a romantic relationship, definitely my type for a friendship." That's a no. That's a no that didn't make me feel like a loser. That was a no that helped me to feel loved. Learn how to say no in a loving way. And you will understand, therefore, when God sometimes, as your BFF, will have to say no to some of our prayers out of love, which leads to the last letter, D. And this is a different word, but I'd like for you to think about it, and then I'm going to have an exercise for you. The word for D is delivered. We say that, "Deliver us, Lord, from every evil. Graciously grant peace in our days, that by the help of your mercy we may be always free from sin and safe from all distress, as we await the blessed hope and the coming of our Savior Jesus Christ for the kingdom." You see, we've got to be delivered. We've got to experience deliverance. This is actually a spiritual term to describe being pulled away from the grips of evil. Let's admit some things about the friendships we have today and the friendships we might want in the future. They need to be delivered from evil. Are you willing to bring out the good in your friends? Or are you kind of those people that bring out the worst of them, and vice versa? You see, deliverance is not just a creepy movie. Deliverance is a spiritual reality of being taken from a life of negativity and slavery to one of freedom and joy. And if you really have a friend, it's only because you know how to become one yourself. My nieces and nephews, I'm going to close with this and give you a little exercise. Close once with a prayer, and then you got an afternoon off. My nieces and nephews, you heard them. They've got that group, JagMac. Go ahead, follow them on JagMac Music on Twitter. They're really awesome. They're like good looking. They can dance. They can sing. They're all black belts. They go to church as often as they can, even during the week. They're world champions in a way, and they performed in many, many places across the globe. And when they come home, they want to just hang out with their friends. And some of them are really great. Some of them want to use them. Some of them don't even consider themselves friends with my nieces and nephews. One of them came to me and just said, "It just hurts so much because I want to be their friend, and while I can't always spend time with them because we're traveling and touring, I try to reach out to them on Facebook and I'll call them, and they never respond. And it just breaks my heart as an uncle and as a priest and as someone who's trying to protect them from what very popular people can become. I propose to you that I am grateful that my nieces and nephews are going to experience that rejection from people who aren't their friends. Because hopefully, if God willing, they become so uber stinking popular, they are not going to turn into freaky weirdos like other popular singers have become. Do you know what I'm talking about? So here's what I got to say. Choose your friends wisely. Be a faithful person, a real person, an interesting and interested person, someone to patiently endure the other, someone who can actually say no and do it with love, and one who is going to be delivered from a life that means such pithy versions of friendship to something that can give you true joy. Here's what I'd like you to do. I'm going to ask you to just take a moment. I'm going to ask you to write down your most interesting quality? If you've got a way to write this down or think about this, or what is the most, don't talk about this, let's just have some silence. What is the most interesting quality in you that you would like to share with a friend? Don't say anything to anybody. Just think about it. What's the most interesting thing about you that you would be willing to share with a friend? Next, what is the thing that you need to work on in order to be a better friend? So I'm asking you to just think about two things. What's interesting in you to make you a good friend? What's negative in you so that you can be a better friend? And we're going to take about 5 minutes, wait a second, and you are going to run around this place. Shut it. You don't have to run far. You could just go like a couple seats down. And I want you to make a new friend. I want you to make at least three acquaintances. Wait a second. 3 or 4 acquaintances where you can actually just share a little bit here. Here's why. We know that the reason why Steubenville is so awesome is because you make new friends. But in order for you to make these friends, you got to learn how to be one. One of the ways you can be one is have something in you that you're willing to share. And know those bad things in you that you don't want in your friendships. And then we're going to come back and we're going to take maybe 4 or 5 quick questions before we end. So, what's interesting in you that you can share with others? And what is it about you that you know you got to improve upon in order to be a friend? Make some friends right now, ladies and gentlemen. Make some friends. You got 2 minutes to make a friend. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Give me yours. All right. All right, hold on, y'all. Okay, if you can take a seat, and then I'm going to take a few questions before we end. I got clipped. All right, have a seat. Where's the clip? All right, let's see if you've got some questions. If you've got a question, come right here, and I'm going to hope to try to answer it as best as I can about friendship. What? So, if someone has a question, we've got a few more minutes. I'm going to try to answer it as fast as I can. Close with a prayer. Any questions, come on down. Any questions? Question? Do I like your hat? It's okay. It's a little warm for it. Question, question, question. Here we go. Come on up. Kinda. Question. Give us your name. Here we go. Shh.
My name's Faith.
Wait a second, y'all. Question, and then we're going to end in about 5 minutes. So just a bunch of quick questions. I'll do as many as I can.
Okay, who was your first friend?
My first friend, thank you. His name is Mike Coombs. He helped me play basketball because he was tall and I was not. So he showed me how to do some shots. Come on up. Come on up.
Hi. Oh, okay. I love me too. Okay, hi. So my question for you, can I be your friend?
Yeah.
All right, here's a question for my friend. What part of the Philippines are you from?
Okay. I am from the part of the Philippines called Cebu, which means cow fat. All right. It's also the place where Christianity kind of took root. There's your question. All right. Thanks, Rand. Coming up. Question.
What age are you? What age are you?
How old am I? I am 40 years old. There you go. Next question. Can I sign your shirt? My gosh. Boom. I am 40. Okay, what do you think? 20, 12, 43, 42. I am 45 years old.
I was wondering, have you ever bonded together as one with one of your friends?
Have I ever bonded together as one with one of my friends? It's a great question. The answer is no. I am not married to any of my friends. Have we felt a simpatico and like a true friendship? Absolutely. Am I afraid to give a bro hug? No. We just always have to end this way. That's it, all right? Come on up. Questions? Holy cow. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to them all.
What made you want to be a priest?
What made me want to be a priest? God called. Super easy. Come on up.
Okay.
So do you think that I can make friends with all of these people in the next day and a half?
No. Here's what it is. Her question was, can she make friends with all of these people? Technically, no. But can you be a friendly person to all people? Yeah. Again, we got to be careful with who we have deep friendships with. So yeah, certainly be a friend in one sense, but they can't be like your super close, awesome friends forever. Cool. All right. We're going to do like 3 more questions. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, I've only do about 3 more questions.
That's a lot of people. Have you ever stopped being friends with anyone?
Have I ever stopped being friends with anyone? I stopped associating with them, but that doesn't mean I don't care for them still. So I don't want to be an enemy to anyone. I don't. But I also know that I have to say no sometimes to my associations with them.
All right. My question is, if you're having difficulties with friends, do you have any tips on how just to get better?
Yeah. If you have difficulties with friends, any tips on how to become better? Number 1, practice those FRIENDs that I told you about. Another thing is invite Jesus into it. A really good friend will never be afraid to pray with you, because prayer invites the ultimate friend, Jesus, into that friendship. And the last question before we end with a prayer.
What is your signature cooking dish? So if you had to make anything. What? If you had to make anything, what dish would you make?
If I could make anything, what dish would I make? Is the one I made you at Mass, the body and blood of Jesus Christ, to feed your souls and bring you to everlasting life. I know you all. Hold on a second. For all y'all who have questions, I'll be right here. We just have to end this session now, but I'd like to close with a prayer. And we're going to close with that song, the James Taylor one. James wrote it, but Jesus lives it. James sang it, Jesus died for it. It's not a religious song unless you bring Jesus into it. And your friendships are like friendships in this world. True friendships will get you to heaven. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, He'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and He'll be